Hi everybody, I'm Tandy Gutierrez and welcome to your December new moon tarot reading. So December 18th is our new moon. It's the time when the moon goes totally dark, right? It sits right next up to the sun side by side, so there's nothing to reflect. It's a time of inner reflection and receiving information. It's a great time to meditate, spend a little extra time in meditation. It is the week during our mat and kitchen workouts where you have two stretch videos back to back as your active recovery week, because you want motion and fluid motion, but it is a time of rest and introspection. So it's not the time to go hard blasting with your physical body. So there's that, okay? So new moons are also about wishes, fresh starts and new beginnings, making plans. And the whole thing about wishes is that you make your wish list and then you go and write your to-do list. Like, what do I need to do to get closer to that? It's the time of planting seeds to come to fruition later. So we're still in Mercury retrograde. It doesn't come out until December 22nd. And even then, we've got like 2 weeks to make its way out of the shadow phase. And you know me in Mercury retrograde, I got a lot to say about it. But that's really for your 30 days to better session this month, 30 days to be a moon mama, or in the private groups, or in a one-on-one session with me. That if you want to book a one-on-one session, Tandy Gutierrez /private session. So we can go through those things. But I want to get your reading out, and it seems a little excited. And this month has been a big one because of the supermoon, the full moon at the beginning, and because of the Mercury retrograde. So I'm interested to see what the new moon reading has to say about all of this. As I'm using the 7-card spread, I'll show them to you as I go. And I love to see things pop up that I haven't seen in a while, because then it's like, oh, energy is shifting, it's changing. Okay, cool. All right, here we go. Okay, so the energy of this new moon for us as a group and a collective is the Two of Coins. Two of Coins is about balance, and coins are, you know, pentacles, what you reap, you sow. I'm using the Fountain Tarot deck. I'm trying to find good light for it. Here you go. So the energy of this new moon is about finding balance. This card, I always think of it as the feng shui balls, you know, that you roll in your hands, that keeping that balance is more challenging than it looks. And they're kind of heavy, but when you get it right, it makes this beautiful singing sound, you know. But if it's before you kind of get the groove, it's like clunky and falling, and they're out of your hand or clanging up against each other. So this new moon really calls us and has us in a place of balance, because when you're out of balance, then you're about to drown, right? Like this card's a slight bit grim. This month in private readings already, there's a big call to past lives. So it's these Two of Coins thing of balancing has a couple of meanings. One, about balancing the to-dos, right? Pay your bills, go to work. What are you going to produce in the world? What are you going to give? What are you helping? Feeding, tending to the physical body, to the people you love around you. It also has to do with balancing your spiritual component and your spiritual side and the spiritual energies. When you figure out how to bring in the spiritual energies into the mundane world, then you have this infinity looping of flow, right? So I think we're all familiar with like creativity and being in the flow, and when it feels good and it may not make any sense, but like you feel purposeful and opportunities come and you're like, yeah, this is what I want, right? So flow really comes from the equal and balance of doing in the mundane world, understanding, implementing, striving, trying, with the divine support, surrender, protection, prayer, meditation, and knowing, you know, catching your signs, symbols, and omens, and then knowing how to decipher and how to go with them. So it's also this figure eight of infinity and coins, pentacles of karma, right? We tend to think of karma as what we've done in this lifetime. You know, like if I did something bad, then I got some bad karma coming back to me. It's always in this negative sense, one. 2, we forget, reincarnation in many lifetimes and different energies. Most of the karma we're bringing with us is from past lifetimes. This is why it's so hard and so confusing. You're like, where did that come from? Why is that happening? I didn't do anything terrible to reap that. It's both, okay? One, it's about understanding that when you're struggling in repetition with lessons and you go, did I bring this on myself? Yep, maybe not. Sometimes stuff just happens, right, for us to learn from. But sometimes we're hauling it from way far back past lifetimes, okay? So there's that aspect of it. You could get into guided meditations. You could ask your guides, guardian angels, spirits, or just ask in meditation, like, what is the past lifetime I'm dealing with right now, so to speak, and see if anything comes. It's fascinating what comes out of it, right? So you have that, like, you might need to seek into, like, what am I dealing with that's not from this lifetime that I can clean up, okay? Because the deal is we clean up our karma, we burn off karma, then we get to ascend, and then we don't have to do this earthly thing again and again and again. It's a deal with old souls. Like, we've done this so many times, we're bringing knowledge from all these lifetimes back in. The fun part of karma is that you also bring the good stuff back. Sometimes you can sink into that. And this month of December, and it's already being clear about December, new moon is the energy of the good karma coming back to support you. It's like when you burn off the bad stuff, then you get your past gifts back too. So we've had talents in other lifetimes, right? So that's really fun. I knew this reading was going to be exciting. Okay, what to leave behind in December. It's funny. Queen of Swords. I love the Queen of Swords, but you're gonna giggle. So this is what to leave behind, in this new moon. This new moon, even though it's about fresh starts and new beginnings, you have to leave some things in order to make space for the new, okay? So it's telling us to leave behind, like, being right. Queen of Swords is, and again, I love her. I think she's a brilliant writer, right? Has a way with words. Swords are your intellect, your acumen, your words. And she's a wordsmith, but they can cut, So she's also almost always right. So I like her because she's a very empowered, feminine, intellect that, you can argue your emotions all day long, but here's the facts of it. It's telling us to leave behind the know-it-all attitude and the intellectual facts of things, that we are about to embrace some really good stuff, and it's going to look like miracles. It's going to come out of nowhere. It's going to be weird in its connection, and it intellectually may not make a lot of sense. So leave behind your know-it-all attitude and the intellect this month in order, there's a tie back, in order to get the gifts of your past lives, okay? So what to receive, and again, this is a great reading already. It was exciting. 10 of Cups. 10 of Cups is your happy ending. So again, endings, right? But you're like, but it's a new moon and it's new fresh starts and new beginnings. Every new beginning comes from something's end. Okay? So you have to be open to receiving the gifts and the abundance and your happy ending. This deck also shows it as partnership. And that balance. But it's, look how creative the balance is. It's not two people facing each other holding hands and leaning back. It's like one person, it's like this beautiful counterbalance, counterlever thing. That's really hard to do. It's about trust and surrender and falling into your partner in a really interesting way. And it, from far away, it looks like a little crescent moon, right? So crescent moon is about that high intuition, that receiving of insights. Just be willing to receive your gifts this month. It's holiday time. Gift receiving. Arms open, right? What to learn. This one's come up in the last 6 months quite a bit. Wheel of Fortune. And it's a wonderful card to have show up. Okay. The Wheel of Fortune says that the wheel of life, there are cycles to it. Right? And sometimes the wheel's on the downside. There's just stuff to learn. It is hard. 2017 was hard, culturally, collectively. It is hard. We're still in it. I'm ready to go. But that the Wheel of Fortune always turns. So whenever it shows up in a reading, that's a call to good luck, that the better things are coming, the good stuff is coming back around. It's okay, keep going, it's coming, may not be time yet. A friend shared this with me and it was a beautiful quote, and hopefully she's listening to the reading. The answer right now may be no, but a yes is right around the corner. So, Wheel of Fortune is the yes right around the corner. Like, it turns, and sometimes it's hard, and sometimes it's gloomy, and sometimes everything's a no for like a long time. But that wheel's going to turn back around, and that says, it's turning, it's turned, it's in the good shade now. So get ready. What to give? Page of Swords. Okay, so we had the Queen of Swords of what to like leave behind. What to give? Page of Swords is is the youngest. It's the student. And so this is about, giving the tender side, the young side of you, that's the student, right? And give your student. How to articulate that? I really believe that as a culture, we have forgotten how to be students, or we don't know how to be a student. Not very well. Everybody's a know-it-all. Everybody's an expert. Because of the internet, honestly, because I said it, because I read it, because I can go publish it and a million people can read it. That doesn't make you an expert, okay? Expertise still comes from, time and effort and mastery and practice. That doesn't change, okay? But as a culture, it has shifted, and I do believe we're shifting back. So this is about giving your best student self to the world, listening, soaking up information you might not typically listen to, taking that moment to find discernment in what resonates and rings true for you, because this is about, like holding the sword in front of the face, like this is my sword of truth kind of thing, but it's see-through, right? It's iridescent. Does it really exist? This idea of perception, of because these are the facts, it's true. Well, yeah, there's a lot of things that are true that we can't see or solidly prove. So it's about giving your best student mind and heart to the world and really navigating as a student. That doesn't mean you believe everything that comes in. That doesn't mean everybody's an expert or a teacher. It just means that you need to be open to learning and expanding and evolving. That thoughts are fluid. Truth is fluid. It can be, as time changes and perception changes and perspective changes, what was true before may not be true now. And we have to allow for that duality in life. When we get stuck in this is truth, that's where things break. That's where we've been. And when you force truth on others, or your truth on others, then that's not a great place either. So give your best student self, student spirit to the world. You're learning. Learn that this whole perception paradigm process is interesting. It's like, it's like the whoa through the matrix kind of thing. Like when you stick your finger, what is true? Like the philosophers of our time, like start to go down the rabbit hole, a lot of variations, okay? Your heart's desire in this new moon. So this new moon energy is about 2 weeks, right? I kind of go from the new moon to the full moon, and we're navigating with these 2 weeks at a time. There's been a lot about coins this month. So coins are abundance and things coming to fruition. It can be your health, it can be opportunities, it can be joy, it can be love, and it can be flat out like financial goods. That's great. Your heart's desire is 9 of coins. 9 of coins to me is really just the same as the Queen of Coins. Like 9 of coins is about cultivating and funny. This reading's funny. You guys are funny today. 9 of coins is about cultivating your magic. It's also like a magician card. Like she's a badass, right? She's totally in ownership of herself. It's a falcon? Yeah. Falconeers are like, super connected to their animal, and it's really hard to train them, and it's unbelievably loyal. But okay, I'm going to focus. 9 of coins is about abundance, but it's about creating your own abundance because of your mastery. That there's been this cultivation of mastery, okay? It's also a 9. 9 is about karmic endings. And so there's cycles in our own life. And Wheel of Fortune, can you hear the repetition in this reading? Cycles shift. Sometimes they're good and blessed and magnificent, and sometimes they're really rough and challenging, and they're all part of life, right? And so 9 of Pentacles, just says you've reached some mastery. There are going to be rewards to it. She's willing to, it's like she walks out of a, I know it's not a cornfield, but I always see her like walking out of a cornfield. For Native Americans, corn is abundance and gold and all these very good omen things. That the heart's desire is to really walk out with mastery, have people recognize it, have that be rewarded in the way that supports your life for the positive, and in a way that you can help support other people's life for the positive. It's a beautiful card, and I would say absolutely like that is a heart's desire. It's really, I'll say it too. She comes out kind of like, she's like modern day witch, right? Like she's in black, she's a little spooky, a little like in the know, but she also just looks like a girl in a romper, right? That's all of us. Like we're just in our PJs and like doing our thing, but really we're magical and capable of creating the things that we want to see in the world, creating, help and being of use and help in the world. So it's a great card. Resources that help. So final card, Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands is all about you being you. You be you. Like be strong, be unique, be flamboyant. I mean, this is like, it's kind of kooky loo. Wands are about your bravery and courageousness. And I repeat this almost every time there's a wand card. Bravery and courageousness is not about not being scared or not worrying or not having some like resistance to it. It's about doing things in spite of fear because you feel or know that it's important, or that the outcome is far more important than your feelings doing it. Okay, so being fearless is not the lack of fear. It's taking action in place of that fear, in spite of that fear. Every important moment in my life has eventually happened because I went, oh, that terrifies me. Now that means I have to do it because that's that place of growth. Now there's this, thing of terrify, of like being in danger, or where your ego gets brewed a little bit and you go, what if I failed at that? That would be utterly embarrassing. So if you're not failing, you're not trying. I'm not saying this in a simple way. I get to say this now because I have earned it. I have failed at a lot of things, but I have tried a ton of stuff, and so you learn something every time. I feel like life is one big, messy kaleidoscope, and that as you learn your lessons, it comes more and more into focus. It's never perfect. There's no perfect. But you learn more. And so, the assets to this month is that you have gained courageousness and bravery and some fearlessness in yourself and just being you. What do you like? What do you love? What supports you? What creates joy? What do you feel like brings about a really good life for you day to day? Do more of that. Forget what other people say about it. It's not their life. Are they paying your bills? If they are, you might need to adjust that. 2, if they're not, you just have to go with it with empathy and compassion, right? I give you space for your things over there. You do not judge me over here. We can all live together, right? So this is a beautiful reading. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Lots of abundance, lots of good luck, lots of karma being burned. That's huge, actually. And good karma being returned. Quit being a know-it-all. Don't use your brain too much. Anchor into your heart and go forth as a student this month. Okay? So if you want to chat about the readings, head over to Matt and Kitchen, at Matt and Kitchen, all one word, on Facebook. If you're in the private Facebook groups, if you're a member of mattandkitchen.com, there's 3 of those. We can chat about them anywhere in there. I love to chat about them. I love to chat with you guys. And if you want to book a private one-on-one tarot reading with me, tandygutierrez.com/private sessions. You just click on the button there and purchase it and schedule it and all that. So happy new moon, and I will see you next month.